Adventures in Baby Getting is the third episode of the 24th season of The Simpsons, and this is directed by Rob Oliver. And the story, I think, is something that I imagine a lot of people can relate to. But I have to say, I don't necessarily agree with Marge's response. It starts off with Marge getting a car, and she realizes she doesn't like the car because she wants to have another baby, and there's not room for this baby. And Homer doesn't know how to tell Marge he doesn't want another baby. And he comes up with some creative ways to try and get around it. I won't say exactly what happens, but I will say that Marge reacts in a way that I don't agree with. Because at the end of the day, it takes two to tango, so both of those dancers should have a valid, weighted opinion. Everybody should have a 50-50 split saying what happens. It shouldn't just be, well, Marge wants a baby, so Marge gets what Marge wants. I don't agree with that at all. I can understand Marge maybe being angry at Homer for not immediately telling Marge the truth. And maybe what Homer did wasn't the most morally sound, but I still think Marge's reactions were... Well, I hope she reacted out of shock rather than anything else, but ultimately what happened with the narrative I thought worked quite well, and I think it definitely helped to show that if you feel a certain way, you shouldn't just go along with it to keep your husband or wife happy, because at the end of the day, as I said, it takes two to tango. So I was a little bit annoyed at Marge's reactions, but at the same time I can kind of understand why she would react in certain ways. We also have a subplot with Lisa. Then Lisa is doing something mysterious, and Bart doesn't know what it is. It is driving him crazy that Lisa has a secret and he doesn't know what's going on. So he hatches a plan to try and find out where she goes after school. And I have to say, it would have been easier to just follow her. But instead he goes a very long-winded way about it. And what he found out, I don't know if I really like what was happening, or if I found it to be a bit of a disappointment. I'm kind of on the fence. Part of me thought it was really awesome, and part of me thought, I was hoping for something a bit more fascinating. So I don't know. This episode isn't a favourite, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was thought-provoking. There were some funny bits, for example, Bart referencing the chalkboards. Absolutely loved that. I thought that was pretty decent. The whole thing with the sample, I thought was a breach of medical ethics with what happened, but I can't say any more than that. So there were some things that I loved, there were some things that I definitely didn't like about this episode, and I think in balance, that means it's a pretty average episode of The Simpsons. 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb across 1.2 thousand reviews and ratings, which is a fairly average rating for this point, and I think that's definitely the best way to describe Adventures in Baby Getting. It's not bad, it's not great, it's pretty average.